Welcome to the Somos Sunnyside podcast, brought to you by the Office of Public Information, where we are sharing stories about the bright side of education.
Hello everyone, buenas tardes, coming to you from Sierra Middle School. This is Somos Sunnyside. I'm your host, Jose Gastelum, the proud superintendent of the Sunnyside Unified School District, and excited to interview our guest today. Our guest is a first-year teacher, so we're going to get that first-year teacher perspective, and her name is Anjolie Navarrete. How are you, Anjolie?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm doing well, and I should call her Miss Navarrete, right? Because you got to be respectful to our teachers here. So Miss Navarrete, she's works here at Sierra K-8, and that's right, it is now a K-8, serving kinder and first grade. Previously, it was a 2-8, and so we want to celebrate that as well as they're off to a great start. And again, Miss Navarrete here is a first-year teacher. She teaches 7th grade math, and I have to say I'm happy you're still here. So we
Right.
you're still with us. You're chipping away and working hard. We're about a couple weeks into the school year, and what was your start like? What was the first couple weeks like for you?
It was very exciting, yet very nerve-wracking. Like, I didn't know what to expect. I mean, I did have some experience coming in working with like 7th graders, but knowing like the community in the background and the logistics of being in South Tucson, I didn't know what to expect, like behavior-wise or curriculum-wise, because when I was teaching 7th graders in my past experience, I didn't follow no curriculum. I didn't follow like a strict guideline. Mm-hmm. But here, I know what to do because I have the curriculum, and I know. And I have so much support, like, from everyone.
Absolutely.
Like my other 7th grade math teacher teams, and so much support.
Yeah, so we like to say success doesn't come without support, right? And it's important that our teachers have the resources they need to be successful. And that's what we do here at Sunnyside, right? We make sure we take care of our teachers, make sure that we take care of that they have all these tools to be successful. And in turn, our kids will be successful. So, I want to talk a little bit about how you got into teaching. I don't know if that was your first choice from the get-go.
It was very, very recent. My first 2 years of college, I switched to majors like every semester. And I was just all over the place. I should have started with the undecided. I don't know why I didn't. But my first semester was chemistry, and then I changed to English, and then I changed to education. And once I started like my core education classes, it was so fun, and it was so intriguing, and it was so engaging. Like the hands-on lessons, and then the hands-on learning experience was just so fascinating to me. I just liked it so much, and I just stuck to it.
So you decided to do it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And from what I'm aware of is you come from a line of educators.
I do, yeah. So yeah, whenever I came home from college, I offered my own free time with my mom to help her teach her 2nd graders, and it was really fun. I had an enjoyable time.
So let's give mom a shout out. So who's your mom?
My mom, Miss Karina Navarrete, works in the district.
So she taught for many years, now works in our language acquisition department and serving our 21 sites, and so, shout out to Miss Navarrete, who's been a loyal SUSD employee and educator, and I'm sure she's impacted many, many lives, right?
For sure.
And so the program you got into is our U of A, University of Arizona Pathways program, and we take great pride in growing our own, and many individuals that get into this program are previously classified employees in our district, and they have approximately an associate's or 60 transferable credits. Don't quote me on that, but something real similar to that. And they get to apply for this program if they have that interest in teaching. And obviously, we need more teachers, right? Everybody needs more teachers. And so it's neat to be able to grow your own and hire within, because I think the advantage is they know our community, they know our schools, they're very familiar with our parents. And so, and it's just a great program. I want to give a shout out to University of Arizona and Dr. Maria Orozco, who we work with real closely. And we've been doing this for years. And so, it's one of the ways that we hire teachers and keep these individuals as well. And so talk a little bit about your experience in getting into U of A Pathways. How did that all happen for you? And here you are, right? You know, you're teaching in your very first year. Usually pathway teachers co-teach, but you decided not to have a co-teacher. You're on your own, and that just speaks volumes of your passion and confidence in your ability. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Pathways is a very accelerated program. You start at your junior year in college, and it's very accelerated. You have about, I want to say, 8 classes over the course of 8 weeks. So it's very fast-paced, very, get straight to the point.
So you're in a cohort, right, with
Yes,
other
I am in a
individuals?
cohort, yeah.
And then from what I understand is there's an allowance that's given as well, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And how much is that allowance?
It's $1,000 every month.
Okay, so it helps, right? It helps with expenses because you are a full-time student and you're trying to get through that trying to earn that teaching degree, right? And so has that been a good experience for you?
My allowance?
No, well,
Or just
of course the allowance, right? But I'm talking about just going through the program, the U of A Pathways program.
It's a very good program. I love the program so far. I've been in it for 8 months now. It's very, very good. I like it a lot. And it prepared me to the most it could have prepared me for.
That's awesome. And it doesn't hurt to have a mom that's an educator either, right?
No.
So, no, that's awesome. So, I think when our podcast is, we want to give perspectives, right? We want to give the perspective of first-year teachers, veteran teachers, our students, community members, and that's the beauty of this podcast is getting those different perspectives, because we know there's people out there, there's listeners out there that can relate to these different topics that we talk about. And so, one of the things I wanted to ask you, and being I remember being a first-year teacher, and that was way back, probably before you were born, in 1996, and I was at Chaparral Middle School, which is now Gallego Intermediate. And man, I remember the kids just ate my lunch those first couple of days. I mean, I was over there trying to and I did this, and we're gonna have a great year, and they just ate me up, and spit me out. And so I remember going home so stressed out, thinking screw this, I don't want to do this the rest of my life, right? Until I got a little bit more organized. I got the support I needed, and I wasn't going to let those little middle schoolers chase me out the door.
Yeah.
But I look back, and it sounds like you're off to a strong start. It just sounds like you have a really good handle on things. And so it brings me to this question of, in these first couple weeks, what's been like your aha moment, right? What's been your funniest moment with kids? Because kids will say the darndest things, right?
Oh
and what's been your aha, right? What's been that life-changing experience that tells you, you know what, I picked the right career, and could be too early. You may not have a lot of those experiences yet, but what experiences do you want to share with us?
I feel me personally, I'm the most unorganized person on the planet, and so I literally have papers literally everywhere, and I can't get my life together. But I feel like once you start the day and get the ball rolling, from that first bell, you set that boundary, right? Set that boundary, you're here to learn. You're going to sit down, do your work, listen, eyes on the board, and get it done. They know, once you start circulating the classroom, they know it's time to get to work, time to fill out the worksheet. And so I feel like my aha moment is to not be so hard on yourself following other teachers' organizational skills or other teachers' routines. As a first-year teacher, go through as many routines or as many styles as you need to find what fits to you. Right.
And that's well said. Many times we all have mentors, right?
Mm-hmm.
We all have those support, those are peers, right? And in your case, your peer teachers, your mentors, and we kind of, teachers are known to be the biggest thieves, right? Because we kind of take what we feel is going to work for us. We steal from each other ideas, and in a good way, right? I mean, I didn't say thieves in a bad way. We're just real good about and real strategic about taking those things that we can fit into our own toolbox, right? And into our own style. And you said that very well. I mean, I think the hardest part is finding the style that works for you, right? Because you can't emulate, you can't replicate someone else's style, because it just, they took years to develop that, right? And so you're young enough where, you're going to make some mistakes, but you're also going to learn a lot from them. And that's the key, right? The key is that we continue to be learners, we be vulnerable in this setting, and that we get better, right? And we provide the best experience we can for our students. And so, thank you for that message, of really trying to find your own niche, your own style. And to me, it sounds like, you're setting some routines with your students, and students, they will rise to the level we set, right? They'll rise to the level of high expectations if we set them high. Right. And if we set them in the middle or we set them low, then that's where they're going to be. And so it's a big responsibility as educators that we have to get the most out of our students, because they all have potential to be very successful. All right. So to all those individuals out there that are thinking about teaching, or to those, your colleagues, other first-year teachers throughout the district, what's your message to them? And also, I know we have an assigned mentorship program in the district for first-year teachers. They buddy you up with a mentor teacher. How's that worked out? How crucial has that been?
Yeah, so what I would say to first-year teachers, if they're ever contemplating getting into the classroom, I would say go for it. It is so much fun. Whatever grade you teach, your kids will enjoy your presence. They love learning. It's just that little piece where they just get confused, but then you help them figure it out, and then they get back to loving the learning process. So it's the end goal where you absolutely love the fact about teaching. When you see students love learning, that's when you love teaching and your students at the same time, and then it becomes a community and becomes a real classroom. And with the mentorship process, my mentor was Bridget Pasco. She just had her baby. Congratulations, Bridget. But now it's Miss Rhoda, and she is so helpful. We meet once a week, talk about the curriculum, talk about how to teach the lessons, talk about what kind of hands-on activities we can give to the students, what little pieces we can either take out or emphasize on. And it's just such a great partnership with experienced teachers and first-year teachers, and there's just that, again, support that I just love.
All right, so hold on to a couple more thoughts. We are going to break for a pause here, for a commercial here, and again, we have Anjolie Navarrete, first-year teacher from Sierra K-8, teaching 7th grade math. We'll be right back.
Sunnyside students can have it all, learning and growing to graduate college, career, and community ready. Don't believe us? Just watch. At Sunnyside Unified School District, we are preparing our graduates with real-world skills and experiences. Our graduates are leaving Sunnyside to pursue an Ivy League education, becoming collegiate-level athletes, and earning prestigious scholarships such as the Gates Millennium, Dell, and Dorrance.
All right, so Ms. Navarrete, you were talking about having a mentor assigned to you here and how crucial that was for you, especially here in the first couple weeks. I imagine as you go through the year, you'll probably need less and less mentoring or more and more mentoring. Only time will tell. But in this case, I'm feeling you're going to need less and less. And so talk to us about how critical that is, because I think sometimes just having someone to go to, having an assigned mentor, having a thought partner, someone you can, sometimes you just got to vent, right? I mean, I tried this, it was frustrating, and this didn't work, and I got to go back to the drawing board. So talk to us a little bit about, how critical that's been. And I'm so glad that we have these programs in place to support first-year teachers.
Yeah. So in the Pathways program, before you're even assigned to your own classroom with your co-teacher, you are assigned to a mentor, and mine was Bridget. And so we would, me and my co-teacher would visit Bridget in her classroom 3 times a week, every week. And every day during her planning period, we would sit down, we would talk about what did we notice, what did we wonder during that school day. and we would just go through like the logistics of being a teacher. Like, yes, this can be frustrating, but this is how you can overcome it. This can be easy, but this is how you can grow from it. And during the 3 weeks that she was here, during pre-service and the first couple days of school she was here, I would always go to her room during lunch or during passing. I would just like wave, or during planning period we would have the same planning period again, and I would just go to her, say, look around her room, see if I can pick up ideas or words in her classroom that I can use in mine, or materials that I can use from her. And it was just so comforting to like know that I can lean on her for ideas and literally anything that I needed, like last minute things. Like, she was down the hall and I
right. So important to have a go-to person, right? And it's so important for us to retain teachers, right? I mean, many times in this profession, people.
And it's so
go for it.
Like, easy to bounce ideas off a mentor teacher that you connect so well with, that you can have so many ideas that you can grasp from and just like bounce back and forth, and it becomes a great conversation and a great connection.
Yeah, I mean, being thought partners, it's so important, and so, one of the things I was, getting at here is, it's important for us as a district to retain teachers. We have to value our teachers, we have to value our employees, and we got to do right by them, right? And so many times people leave the profession or leave a school district because of lack of support, right? They don't have that support in place. And so, here at Sunnyside, we take a great deal of pride to make sure, we're providing that support. And it does matter, I mean, in terms of having the right mentor matters. It sounds like you have the right mentors in place that you get along with very well, and you connect with each other, and you guys are having some great conversations. And I know, I'm being realistic here and being vulnerable and transparent. Sometimes the mentor and the mentee don't match, right? Yeah. And so you got to find a different one. So, one of the things I want to hit on, I think what you were describing of having your mentor, in the line of education, we call this, intentional planning, in terms of, it's important to be real intentional, right? With being planned and being organized, and planning with this thought of, what outcomes do I want for my students, right? What outcomes, where will this lead if I do it this way or that way? And so, I know a lot of that takes place, behind the scenes. It's just not, and a lot of respect to all our teachers, shout out to all our teachers out there, because, you just can't go in there and wing it. You can't just go in there and teach off the cuff. And if you do, things are not going to go well, right? But when you're intentional and you plan and you give it a lot of thought, and you have a curriculum to follow and there's support there, the outcomes are going to be great. The outcomes are going to be great, and more importantly, kids are going to learn, and teachers are going to be happy, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work being a teacher, and we recognize that and respect that. And so, to all our teachers out there, thank you for what you do. Anything else you want to share that we haven't covered? Anything else?
Yeah, I would say that I'm not going to lie, it's very hard. It is very physically and emotionally draining, but at the end, like at the very end goal, if you think about it, like your students will go to high school, they will go to college, they will get a degree, because you impacted them so much that they have an education, they will succeed in life, and ultimately that is the end goal. Like, it's so worth it to put yourself through that emotional, physical drainage. It's just worth it in the end.
Right. There's satisfaction that comes with it, right? And I talk about this often. We all have a story of those individuals that impacted our lives, right? Everyone has a story about that, and you're in a position to be that person.
Yeah. I can't wait to see my little 7th graders be in like high school, graduating high school, and coming back here. Like,
all right. Well, I'm going to put it on the air right now. When your 7th graders reach 12th grade and graduation, I'm going to give you a first row seat there
you better.
all right.
High school.
You can hold me to it.
Yes.
So, one of the things, talking about impact here, how our impact shapes the future of our students. And you know, our kickoff that we had, you know, on opening day.
So fun. Did you see
Good.
my cartwheels?
I saw your cartwheels. I even
did
saw your
cartwheels.
interview. You were on the news, man.
Right.
You're like a celebrity already.
Yes.
And you're like a month in here. So, you know, one of the things we talked about was impact. And it's neat because I always worry about, gosh, was the message inspirational? Was the message impactful, right? When we present to our staff on opening day. And one of the, I want to share this, and I'm not going to name names here. And I know that takes the fun out of things, but I think more importantly is the story behind this. I received an email from a current employee, you know, certified employee. And so she talked about how the topics we covered about impact, how it really resonated with her because she had a story about that individual who impacted her life. And that individual happened to be a counselor. It was actually here at Sierra Middle School. Back then it was Sierra Middle School. And so that counselor was in this student's life at a very crucial point in her life. And she wrote a letter just saying how, you know, our message of impact and we all have someone that impacted our life really resonated with her because she needed that person the most during the most difficult times of her life, which was during middle school. And that she still to this day keeps in contact with this person. And she now is an employee of ours. She's actually serving our students. So she says, I owe everything to this person. You know, this person for me was at my college graduation when I received my bachelor's and my master's degree. And so those are the stories. That's why we do what we do. Mm-hmm. You know, when you say, I can't wait to see, you know, my students, I can't wait to see, you know, hear the stories, because there's going to be stories. There's going to be those stories of students you've impacted because you care deeply about them. And I can tell just by our interview, just by your passion and emotions here that you're sharing, that you know, you're going to do that, and you're going to have these stories, and they're going to be talking about Miss Navarrete, you know, years from now. You know, hopefully, I mean, obviously, soon as well, but more when kids get to a point in their lives, and I shouldn't call them kids, but our young people, our young students get to a point in their lives where they understand that, and they realize these people have made an impact in my life, right? And many times it is our teachers, it's our counselors, it's our coaches, and I've said that many times before because it's true, you know, and they deserve that credit. So
they're with
you
us
know,
8 hours a day, 5 days a week. Most of their life they're with us. So.
That's right. You know, you spend a lot of time with these individuals, and so any last thoughts as we wrap up here?
Can I say the teachers that impacted me when I was in middle school?
Please do.
Well, my elementary teachers, I'm still in good contact with them, not only because my mom's friends with them, but because I do take their support. I do reach out to them whenever I need help. Miss Castellum was my first grade teacher. She recently sent me...
No relationship.
No. Like, there's a lot of Castellums in this.
There is a lot of Castellums. They're not all my family, people out there. They're not all my family.
No, but she recently sent me some school supplies that I was really needing, and I was really thankful for that. Miss Ramirez, she was a really great kinder teacher for me. Miss Inglet, I recently posted my Amazon wish list for my classroom, and Miss Inglet bought me a few things from there, and I was so eternally grateful for that. And she was an amazing teacher too. She made everything really fun. In middle school, Miss Ijams and Miss Malis. I blame Miss Ijams for my coffee addiction. I swear. Every time I walked into her classroom, it was straight coffee, and it was
that
goodness.
Smell, huh?
It was goodness. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously you were a student here at Sunnyside. You went to Summit View Elementary. You were at Los Amigos, and you were at Lawford. You know, as you're naming some of these teachers, these are some teachers I definitely recognize the names. You know, and they're still. When you talk about impact, they're still impacting students just like they impacted you. And again, you know, we were just talking about this. Till this day, they're still looking out for you, not only as their student, while you were their student, but now as a young teacher, so those are like lifelong relationships, lifelong mentors, and so I'm glad that you're definitely giving them a shout out, and I'm sure they got big smiles on their face, and maybe you'll get a free coffee out of it. I don't know.
I hope so. I'll take it.
I mean, what's your go-to coffee?
Probably a caramel macchiato.
Caramel macchiato. Too many calories for me. I got to go with like the straight,
Black.
Black, and maybe one sweet and low. So, all right. Well, as we wrap up, I hope that our listeners enjoy the show. I hope that they enjoyed this segment here of interviewing Miss Navarrete and getting that first-year teacher perspective. We want to definitely highlight the great things that are happening in this community, that are happening in our schools, and we'll continue to do that. And Miss Navarrete, we want to wish you a successful first year, and hopefully a long career at Sunnyside Unified School District. So
I'm not going nowhere.
Sounds good. All right, can you write that down for me and make sure it's on paper, a document? So that wraps up this episode of Somos Sunnyside. Hasta luego. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Somos Sunnyside. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and found it entertaining. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to subscribe and share our podcast with la comunidad. For updates on future episodes and more, be sure to follow us on social media and visit our website at susd12.org. We appreciate your support and can't wait to have you back for the next episode. Hasta la próxima vez en Somos Sunnyside.